world to stories here at home. This is the National News Broadcast. A pleasant evening. I'm Delanjali Ananda.
And I am Hilina Udayaratna. First of all, we take a look at the headlines for tonight. 609 COVID-19 patients found today. The Health Minister says that the coronavirus will be controlled with the assistance of health, armed forces and intelligence authorities. MP Diana Gamage reveals that she supported the 20th Amendment for a strong executive to develop the country. The wife of Zahran Hashim summoned again before the Presidential Commission. And on your top local story this evening, the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was passed with a two-thirds majority yesterday with amendments. 156 voted for the amendment while 65 voted against. A separate voting took place on removing the clause on dual citizenship. It was significant to note that 157 voted for this clause. The debate for the 20th Amendment to the Constitution took place for 2 days at the Parliament. The second reading of the debate commenced by Minister Ali Sabri. Minister Ali Sabri said that a country cannot be built by slogans and false commissions. They were committed to introducing a constitution for the country in another year where all citizens can live and be treated equally. The second reading of the draft bill took place after his reply speech following the debate. Speaker Mahindayapa Abeyewardene announced that 156 voted for and 65 voted against the draft amendment. MP Dayasiri Jayasekara said that the former president discussed it with the parliamentary group. He asked them to take the decision as SLFP parliamentarians. However, he said that the former president told them that it was difficult for him to take the decision. He added that it was not a process to oppose the government by the former president. Meanwhile, MP Vijayadas Rajapaksa voted for the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. The committee stage commenced after the second reading vote. Justice Minister Ali Sabri presented several amendments on behalf of the governing party. All the amendments were approved. The opposition, with Lakshman Kiriyalla, presented 56 amendments on behalf of the opposition, but they were not approved. The opposition requested for a vote on the clause on removing the dual citizenship at the committee stage. Accordingly, a division took place at the committee stage. 157 voted for the clause. Digamadulla Samagi Janabalawege MP Mushaf Mutunabeen, who voted against the 20th Amendment, voted for dual citizenship. Speaker Mahindayapa Abeyewardene said that 157 voted for and 64 voted against the 17th clause. Another voting took place after the committee stage and the 20th Amendment received 156 votes for the draft bill with amendments. Speaker Mahindayapa Abeyewardene said that he would like to announce that the third reading of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was passed with amendments. The next step related to the 20th Amendment is to send it to the Legal Draft Department to certify it when the amendments at the committee stage. Thereafter, the Gazette notification will be issued under the signature of the Speaker. Thereafter, it will become an act. Parliamentarian Diana Gamage said that millions of rupees of public funds were spent on the presidential election. The president must have power to work for the country and there is no use of a nominal president. She thought about the country and she has confidence on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. She added that the president would build the country within the next 5 years. She questioned whether they would have opposed if it was Sajit Premadasa and if he became the president tomorrow.
Welcome back. And the people celebrated the passing of all amendments to the constitution by a 2/3 majority in parliament.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has reiterated Sri Lanka's commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. The Prime Minister, participating in the celebration to mark the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, has said that Sri Lanka is committed to creating a greener and more sustainable environment for the future.
75th anniversary of the UN. It is indeed a historic occasion, especially given the long-standing partnership Sri Lanka has had with the UN for 65 years. Unfortunately, COVID-19 pandemic has prevented us from joining you at your office for these celebrations. However, I'm glad technology has brought us together virtually. I want to start by thanking the United Nations for its support to Sri Lanka in fighting the coronavirus outbreak. As the world takes on the challenges of this unprecedented global health crisis, it is more important than ever to work collectively on our shared challenges to overcome this pandemic. 75 years ago, on a day like tomorrow, the United Nations has created to be a global organization to act as the center of discussions on international cooperation, economic and social development, and international peace and security. It was the optimism of the UN Charter that instilled our faith in the UN's ability to create a better world for us and our children. The global platform has helped bring world leaders together during some of the most challenging times, such as today. As member states, I believe we need to support the United Nations as it evolves into more agile and accountable institution. The world is changing dramatically, and an upgraded United Nations must both adapt and stay relevant. Having overcome a 3 decades long war, Sri Lanka is on a transformative journey to becoming a more sustainable and resilient country. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, we are all desperately searching for solutions to build back our economies, societies, and global network. We are firm in our commitment to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030 and create a greener and more sustainable environment for the future. I call upon my fellow world leaders to work collectively in restoring compassion back to this ecosystem in our respective countries. I appreciate the United Nations support for a wide range of sectors such as health, education, environment, agriculture, and food security. One of my most important memories working with the UN is when I had the opportunity to work with the children, especially after Easter Sunday attacks and during the pandemic. In addition to remaining committed to children's right and safety, I remain equally committed to addressing the challenges faced by women and girls, the elderly and the differently abled and look forward to working closely with the UN Residence Coordinator and the country team. I extend my best wishes to the entire UN team here in Sri Lanka as you mark United Nations Day tomorrow, and I expect to continue the close cooperation in the years to come.
And now, with reference to the COVID-19 situation of the country, the corona patient who fled Koskamashalava Hospital was found this afternoon while staying at a house on the 13th floor of the Sahaspura housing complex. The patient has been admitted again to the same hospital for treatment. The patient who fled while undergoing treatment for COVID-19 at Avisavella Koskama Hospital was found this afternoon. He was found from a house on the 13th floor of Sahaspura housing complex in Borella. The National Centre to Prevent the Spread of COVID-19 said that the 26-year-old youth who was admitted to the hospital around 1:30 a.m. today has fled the hospital this morning. His family members have also been infected with the virus and undergoing treatment at the hospital. The Public Health Inspector of Borella said that the patient was sent back to Koskama Hospital in an ambulance. Family members of the house where the patient was hiding and the operator of the lift have been subjected to quarantine. According to PCR tests conducted randomly near the Beruwala Fisheries Harbour, it has been confirmed that 20 persons have been infected with COVID-19. Therefore, Beruwala Fisheries Harbour premises, Alutgama Fish Market and Beruwala Pradeshya Sabha building have been temporarily closed down. Meanwhile, PCR tests are to be conducted on the employees working at selected fisheries ports. Public health inspectors and security officials have taken steps to close down all fish stalls in the Hatton town. The relevant groups are to be sent for PCR tests. Fish stalls at Ratnapura Public Market were also closed down. They have been closed down as a businessman who purchased fish from the Paliaguda Market complex was confirmed to have infected with the virus. Minister Douglas Devananda says that the Fisheries Ministry has warned fishermen not to maintain contacts with Indian fishermen who are engaged in fishing violating maritime boundaries. Issuing a statement, he said that transactions with Indian fishermen have been temporarily banned. The minister said that although Paliaguda Fish Market has been closed down temporarily, steps have been taken to purchase the fish harvest from the fishermen by the Fisheries Corporation and to sell them under concessionary prices for the customers. He said that since more fish harvest is received at present, the remaining stock would be made available to make dry fish. The funeral of the woman who died yesterday due to COVID-19 was held this afternoon according to quarantine regulations. It was the 14th COVID death in the country. The deceased woman was a 50-year-old resident of Kuliapitia. It is reported that she was transferred to Colombo Infectious Disease Hospital from the Kuliapitia Hospital and passed away due to complications of other illnesses. 609 COVID-19 infected persons have been identified today. 496 out of them are contacts of the Paliaguda Fish Market. 48 have been contacts of those who are at quarantine centres. 5 have been reported from the Galle Fisheries Harbour and 20 from the Beruwala Fisheries Harbour. Another 40 contacts were also reported. Meanwhile, 92 persons who violated quarantine curfew during the 24 hours ended 6 a.m. today have been arrested. 17 vehicles have been taken into custody. 688 who violated quarantine curfew so far have been arrested, while 93 vehicles have been seized by the police. The Director of Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health, Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Sudat Samaravira, says that the coronavirus cluster identified with the Paliaguda Fish Market has spread to various fisheries entities in the country. He said health authorities are taking necessary actions to deal with the newly emerged fish market subcluster.
Paliaguda Fish Market is a central hub that people coming from all over the country either to sell fish or to buy fish for their home use or to sell in the other places. So because of that, if somebody is getting the COVID-19 disease because of visiting Paliaguda Fish Market, they may take it to their homes or the village that is all over the country. This cluster will be spreading throughout the country. So that we have taken the measures to identify all the contacts of these people to quarantine them and do the PCR testing. So with that we will be able to identify all the cases that has come up from this Paliagoda fish market cluster. The other thing that we plead from the people is that if you have visited the Paliagoda fish market over the past 2 weeks time, please come forward and inform it to the public health inspector or the medical officer of health of the area. Then we will be able to do a risk assessment and if necessary to do PCR testing to see or to verify whether any person who has visited the Paliagoda fish market has contracted this disease. So until now there are so many people are having a doubt whether that COVID-19 has been at a level of community transmission in our country. With the WHO definition that we are still at the cluster level. The cluster means that is all the cases are linked to each other. Up to now that all the cases that has been identified in our country can be linked to this Brandix cluster. And within this cluster, there could be some sub-clusters. The largest sub-cluster is the Paliagoda fish market, that incident, and also there are some other few clusters that has appeared within this big cluster. And this cluster has spread all over the country. So still that it is a cluster because that all these cases can be linked to each other. The community transmission defines as if you are identifying more and more cases in the society that you can't link each other, or that when you are doing the PCR testing for the people who are coming to hospitals with COVID-19 like symptoms, that you are detecting more cases, and if you can't link each other, then that is the community transmission. When there is a large cluster that is spread all over the country, that there is a situation that we will not be able to identify all the contacts of these people. So because of that we will miss some cases and they will go into the society and there will be a spreading in the society without knowing to us, and that losing that link with each other. So because of that there is a threat for the community transmission when this type of cases are reported. So because of that we are requesting the people that to adhere to the health guidelines very strictly. Those who are the thing is that most of the time that people who are getting this disease as well as get dying because of this disease are elderly and who are having other chronic diseases. So because of that we request such people to stay at home all the time as much as possible. All the other people also should stay at their home, should not come out unnecessarily, should limit all their movements, should avoid going trips, going gatherings, having gatherings, then having some other celebrations like things. We don't recommend at this moment. We request that all the people should restrict their movements as much as possible. If you are coming out to the society, then you should wear a mask properly and should maintain the distance of 1 meter, and also should wash your hands very frequently. Then we will be able to control this disease, and that we can identify all the cases and treat them.
Well, in more coronavirus news over here at home, Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi says that steps have been taken to control the coronavirus with the support of health, armed forces and intelligence authorities. She mentioned this while taking part in the adjournment debate on the COVID-19 pandemic today at the Parliament. Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi says that the group who came from India's Brandix was subject to quarantine until the 6th at the Hilton Hotel. They are the last group to arrive in the country. By the 6th, the patients have been identified. When they were under quarantine at Hilton, the disease rose at the Brandix factory. So therefore, there is no connection between these two clusters.
Reciting of Ratana Sutra commenced today, wishing the elimination of COVID-19 in the country at Abhayaramya in Narayanpeta. It will take place at 20 temples until the 30th of this month. Reciting of Ratna Sutra commenced today at Narahipita Abhayarama under the patronage of Chief Incumbent of the temple, Venerable Muruttettue Anandathera. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was present to listen to the Ratna Sutra. The Ratna Sutra is recited at 200 temples island-wide for 7 days from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
The government has taken steps to select beneficiaries for the national program to empower families by developing home economy and improving nutrition. It is with the support of district secretaries and divisional secretaries. The program is implemented on the advice of the chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Alleviation, Basil Rajapaksa. Mr. Basil Rajapaksa mentioned this while joining in on the discussion to look into the progress of the national program to empower families by developing home economy and improving nutrition. The discussion took place at Temple Trees. Steps were taken to improve home economy through home gardens, animal husbandry and aquaculture. Providing technical assistance for the beneficiaries is scheduled to take place. Mr. Basil Rajapaksa said that the program will help to control the cost of living. One of the main aims of the program is to meet the food requirement to ensure food security and to control the price due to cost added in the middle for agriculture production. Another objective of the national program is to meet the consumption needs of the people and to achieve food self-sufficiency. Accordingly, the national program is implemented covering 25 districts together with state institutions including agriculture, agrarian development, Samurdhi Development, Ayurveda, Animal Husbandry and Health Departments and the Coconut Development Board. A group of people including Secretary to the State Ministry of Samurdhi and Home Economy, HKDWMN Hapuhinna, were present on the occasion. Abdul Qadir Fatima Hadia, who is the wife of Zaharan Hashim, was summoned for the second day before the Presidential Commission to inquire into the Easter Sunday attack today. Her testifying before the Commission was not open to the media today as well. Abdul Qadir Fatima Hadia, who is the wife of Zaharan Hashim, who led the Easter Sunday attack in 2019, was brought before the Presidential Commission today with the security of prison officials. When she was brought before the Commission for the first time yesterday, the Attorney General's Department secretly informed about regarding evidence from her. Thereafter, Abdul Qadir Fatima Hadia was brought before the Fourth Magistrate. The Fourth Magistrate ordered 6 persons, including the wife of Zaharan, to be remanded until the 4th of next month. The Presidential Commission gave the decision this morning about obtaining evidence from her into the Easter Sunday attacks. She was brought before the Commission around 9 a.m. today. Her testifying was not open to the media and the journalists left the Commission premises and stayed at various places near the premises since they did not have a place to be seated. At that moment, the Chief Executive Officer of the BMICH, where the Commission meets, blamed the journalists and asked them to leave the premises. As a result, the journalists who came to cover the activities of the Presidential Commission on the Easter Sunday attacks had to attend to their duties without a place to stay.
Chairman of the Presidential Commission to inquire into political victimization, retired Supreme Court Justice Upaliya Beratna said today that the contents of the telephone recordings between MP Ranjan Ramanayaka, former MP Hirunika Premachandra and CID Inspector Nishanta Silva shows that they have exchanged presents for helping out each other. He mentioned this when a complaint made by Commander Sampath Dayananda of the Navy Intelligence was taken up today. Commander Sampath Dayananda of the Navy Intelligence has complained to the Commission that he and other intelligence officials have been arrested and remanded by filing false charges in connection with the abduction and disappearance of Vadivel Pakil Sami and Ratnasamy Paramanandan in 2009. Hirunika Premachandra, who has been named as a respondent in the complaint, did not appear before the Commission today and a counsellor appeared on behalf of her. The counsellor told the Commission that Hirunika Premachandra would not testify before the Commission. The Commission cross-examined Commander Sampath Dayananda about the dialogue between Hirunika Premachandra and Nishanta Silva on the recording. Giving evidence before the Commission, Mr. Dayananda said that it was felt that the cases were conducted according to the needs of the politicians by holding telephone discussions with the then politicians on the court cases being heard and investigation reports by officials led by Shania Besekar of the CID during the time of good governance government.
Well, that's it from the Rupavahini News Desk for tonight. Make sure to join us tomorrow at the very same time. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Good night.